What is up, everyone? I am Jordan, or JKU390, and this is an update because, as some people might have noticed, it has been over a year since we've uploaded anything. We've streamed since then, but there haven't been any actual uploads. And there's a lot of reasons for that, which I'm going to kind of go over and then talk about the hopeful future of the channel, etc., etc., etc. So first and foremost, one of the things I've always been very open about is the fact that I suffer from very severe anxiety. But I have, for probably the first time ever, I got last year at some point, health insurance. And I've been taking different types of anxiety medicines. We're trying to figure out what works best for me. It's a learning process. You kind of take a medicine, you wait like 4 weeks, and if it's not doing what it's supposed to do, then you move on to the next one. It's kind of a pain, but everybody's brain is different. It's a bunch of different variables. I'm currently trying my third type of medicine. It's kind of a weird setup because the way I've been doing it has been in 3-month intervals. So the first medicine I took for 3 months, it didn't really work for me. The next one I ended up doing for 2 sets, so I got 6 months of it, and it didn't have any negative side effects, but it also wasn't really showing very much improvement in terms of my anxiety. And now I'm on my third one. This is my 4th month of that, and I mean, so far I still have a lot of anxiety that I can't really deal with, but again, not as much negative side effects other than maybe a little bit of a dad bod, which is fine because, you know, I'm in my 30s. So the major reason that this is important is, actually it goes into 2 things, but first and foremost, the first medicine I took, which I took for about 3 months, left me just void of all creativity. I didn't really want to do stuff musically. Whenever I sat down, I would try and write. I would have all these things written out, and I'd start, which is something I just kind of do for fun. It's for me. I would start, and I would just look at the page, and I'd be like, there's nothing. Nothing will appear on this page. And it was the same with editing and making videos and stuff. That creative edge was gone. And that's why I wanted to get rid of that medicine, because creativity is what keeps me going. That is the medicine is my cure for anxiety. Creativity is my cure for depression. All right, so the second reason that's important is because it kind of just changed every facet of my life. And I can get more into detail on that, but first I wanted to kind of talk about other stuff I've done, which is I've been going back and forth a lot between here and parts of the East Coast. There was about 4 months total last year that I wasn't in Indiana. I was in Virginia, I was in North Carolina, I was in basically everywhere between Indiana and there. And Indiana's where I live, so that's why I mentioned not in Indiana. And in between all of that, I got to do more medical stuff. And that leads us to the second part, where I had labs taken to see just kind of how my vitals and everything was. And the major thing they noticed was that I had a relatively low blood count, mainly white blood count. And they're like, oh, you might be anemic, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to check some more stuff with it and find out what's up. Maybe your iron levels are low, maybe, something. I ended up having blood taken so many times. That first time I went, they took 14 vials of blood, which is insane when they're telling you have low amounts of blood. And they looked through everything and they're like, oh no, your iron's fine. Everything's great. You're just even looking at your normal stuff. Your blood pressure and everything is probably the best it could be at your age. Your old man age in your 30s. And like, so what's causing the blood levels to be lower than they should be? Maybe it's an abnormality. Maybe that's just how you're born, that we've never really checked your blood before. But just in case, we're going to check a couple other things. So over the last few months, I have had my blood taken, I think, 9 times? Multiple times because the lab, which is in the same building as my doctor, by the way, who would order the labs, would take the wrong thing because they didn't understand what he was asking of them, because some of the things that they asked for, it's not necessarily done anymore. But one of the biggest issues they had was trying to manually just take blood, they put it under a microscope, and they, by hand, kind of count everything to find out if the numbers and stuff are where they're supposed to be. And they didn't understand that, so they just kept giving me the same CBC tests and all of this stuff, and then they'd send it back to my doctor, and he was upstairs, so he'd get back to me and be like, they messed up again. They're not listening. And then the one time we talked to him about it, all the people in the lab were like, I don't know. They were going back and forth. They brought in the main person. Finally, like, we think we know what he needs from us. We're going to do it. And they're like, okay, we're here. We're going to give you a CBC. And I was like, no, that's not what he wants. Quick taking my blood. I mean, you're going to have to take it, but not for that. And finally, he's like, you know what? I'm going to send you to an external lab. So I went, I got my blood taken, etc. Time passes. Anyway, then I go and I end up being told to talk to a blood specialist, and he tells me, okay, well, It seems like it could just be an abnormality, but just in case, there's a couple of scary words that we want to make sure it's not. Stuff like, leukemias and, other, blood cancer and things like that. So we got to make sure everything's fine. There's a specialist who lives in Indianapolis. I'm going to talk with him. We're going to look over your stuff. We're going to take your blood again because you haven't had enough of that taken. We're going to send it to him. We're going to look at it and see if he thinks we should go ahead and have bone marrow taken. Lo and behold, I get called. He's like, okay, yeah, just to be safe, we're going to have your bone marrow taken. Cool. I had my bone marrow taken, and a lot of people say it sucks, it's bad, it's terrible. I didn't feel a thing. I also learned that Xanax doesn't do anything for me. They gave me a Xanax, and they're like, here you go, this should help. And I was like, all right, and I took it, and nothing happened. I remember the whole time I got all the stuff done. I didn't feel a thing, luckily, with them actually taking the bone marrow. The anesthesiologist, she was amazing. Shout out to Debbie, too. There's 2 Debbies that work there, and she's Debbie, too. And the doctor was great, too. Anyway, I got all that done. Didn't feel a thing. I got home, still didn't feel a thing. I was like, oh, this is great. And I mean, there was a tiny little mark there, so I know what happened. Otherwise, I wouldn't have believed them because I said it was going to hurt the next couple days. But that doesn't matter. That's not why I've been gone. Well, I guess it is. I had bone marrow taken, and I was trying to make sure I don't have cancer. But besides that, in April, I was supposed to get all the test stuff done. There was 2 things of my bone marrow that were taken. One was just the normal bone marrow. The other was like a part of the bone, I guess. And that was being sent to Indy. The other part was just being checked to make sure everything was fine. The part being sent to Indy, I think they're kind of just checking over to see stuff like my I guess, family history and all these other things just to kind of see what they affect. So I got a phone call in early April. It was from the lady that works for the blood doctor. And she explained to me, the normal part came back. It looks like it should be fine. I was like, cool, perfect. And she's like, it's kind of like trying to read Chinese. She's not a specialist. She doesn't know what a lot of it says. She just has like the basics of what was told to her. But she came to the conclusion, yeah, it seems like at least the horrible stuff is probably not there. So don't worry, don't freak yourself out. And I was like, cool. And she's like, but the other part, we still have to wait to get back. And I was like, all right, that's fine. And they said that should be at the end of the month, which is, the end of April. So I kind of waited a little bit. I get a note from my insurance, and they're like, we don't think you need this, so we're not going to pay for it. Because we can be like, you know what? If you have blood cancer, you'll die anyway, so why would we pay for it? They didn't obviously say it that way, but that was kind of what it felt like when they're like, oh, we don't think you need to have this test done, so we're not going to pay for it. Well, lo and behold, the people call me, the doctors, the lady, and she's like, all right, here's what's going to happen. They don't want to pay for it. If worse comes to worse, we'll cover it for you. And I was like, oh, wow, you guys are fantastic. But we're gonna do all the stuff we have to go through, and it's an annoying process. That there's 3 different companies she has to contact to get all this stuff done because it's being done through multiple places. But then through that, they have to get everything established, and then if they still don't agree, there's a thing called a peer-to-peer, where my doctor would have to sit down with a doctor that they've hired to discuss why it's necessary for me to have this. And if they can come to an agreement, then the insurance will cover it. And if they can't, then obviously they don't. But there'll be other things they might suggest, like, oh, well, maybe Jordan should try doing this first. And if that doesn't work, then we'll do the bone marrow stuff. She's like, we'll cover it. We got it taken care of. We're good. Don't worry about it. And I was like, awesome. And so we're still good for the end of the month? She's like, yeah, still good for the end of the month. Well, I had another appointment with my doctor. It was my actual doctor. And it was a check-in to see how things went with all the tests with my blood, but also my anxiety medicines, and find out how those are going to go. That was a couple days ago. And I got called by the lady again the same day. This being April, it was like April 26th. And it's currently the 30th. And she called and she said, they still haven't checked it yet. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, even though we tried to set all the stuff up, the money hadn't gone through. So they hadn't done anything with it. It's just sitting there. And I was like, so what do I do? And she's like, well, you don't have to do anything. I'm just letting you know. And we're going to try and get all this stuff sorted. I've been on the phone with all these 3 buildings all day, trying to get everything sorted and figured out. You'll probably get your results in June. And that sucks because I'm probably going to be out of town again over the next few months, because that's just what I do now. I go to the East Coast. So I explained to her, I don't know how I'm going to do all that. And she's like, well, we'll just make it all virtual. Everything. And so good. Awesome. But now I have to wait until June 10th, hopefully, to find out my results for the last thing. Hopefully the insurance covers everything. I told my doctor about the issues I had. We talked about how that medicine, we still don't know if it's really helped because I've been so busy with blood tests and stuff. There's no way to know if I still have this. I mean, it's social anxiety for the most part, but there's no way to really detect how that's being treated. So he's like, all right, we'll just do another 3 months and find out. And then, so that'll give me the excuse to kind of leave and be out of town and do whatever else I need to do. The ending idea kind of all of this is that's the reason I haven't uploaded in a year, is because it's just been having a lot of blood taken, having a lot of different tests for anxiety medication, having bone marrow and other stuff in the hospital like that done, and being out of the state for half of the year. So the main question is, where does that leave the channel? And there's a lot of things kind of to talk about, but obviously I'm not going to give up the channel because True Friends Gaming is important to me. It is, it helped me, making this channel helped me in a time that I very much needed something, a creative outlet to kind of help me and support me. And you know, we started this channel, I was a teenager. I mean, barely, I was 19, but I was a teenager, and now I'm in my 30s. And we still don't have 1,000 subscribers because we suck. And I realized now that this video goes out, people, especially a lot of the people that found us through like Gangsters 2, when I did that playthrough, which is such a good game. But people like that will probably be like, oh, right, I subscribed to this and unsub, and that's fine. We're not in it for the subscribers. If we were, then we would have quit a long time ago. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure where that leaves us currently because a lot of the other people have stuff going on. Kirk's got all kinds of cool stuff going on in his life. I don't know if he wants to talk about it, so I'm not going to reveal all of that, but I'll let him be the one to cover that. Some of the people like Tyler, Kyle, Eric, they always seem to be on playing stuff. James, he's always busy, unfortunately, because he has a family of 1,000 people all living in the same house. Ricardo's got all kinds of awesome crap going on. He's got books coming out. He's made stickers. He's been doing cons. He and I actually have projects we're working on, or at least a project, but that's totally top secret. But regardless, make sure you check out some of the stuff he's got, because he's got a lot of cool stuff going on, a lot of stuff he's really excited about. He's got some comics coming out, novella, book, all kinds of things, and he's very, very excited. Card game, and even if I refuse to, support his stuff, you can give him money. I'm not going to. He doesn't deserve my money, dude. He's only done art for us for like, what, 5 years and then didn't do it anymore? He's not going to get my money, dude. No, I'm trying to... What am I talking about? Support Ricardo. Thanks. So with that, what other things can I do for the channel? Well, there's a lot of stuff, but mainly True Friends Gaming, whenever we founded, it was me, Kirk, and Kevin. And the idea was it was a channel for us to be friends and play games and bring our friends on and play games with them and et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like as much as we used to have a lot of people appear on our channel, we kind of stopped doing that for a while. And I've got a lot of videos and stuff kind of in the backlog that we didn't think were going to be videos, so I just have them. That's kind of, a lot of those videos are for me anyway. It's, I get to go back and watch me playing games with my friends and having fun. But again, the reason we always uploaded them was like, well, if there's somebody that needs it, maybe it'll help them. Maybe it'll give them some type of sanity, some type of, relaxing point in their life. Just be like, all right, cool. Here's people that are much worse than me and they can feel better about themselves. No, it'll be something where they can hopefully, it'll just help somebody. That was the goal. I've got a lot of backlog stuff like that. Some things were recorded like 2 years ago, some stuff a year ago, some things that have been recorded actually pretty recently. But we just never did anything with it. Probably maybe even like a video a week or something. And it's not going to be prolonged, but maybe there'll be a couple of things like that I'll just kind of upload a couple videos. One thing I can tell you I'll upload, it is a Worms, was it Worms MD? Is that what it's called? It was me, and if you guys have watched Dead by Daylight, all these people were in it, but it was me, Alex, who's also been in quite a few other videos, and he's the English Alex, as in from England, and then Ruben, who's Irish, Duster, who's Puerto Rican, and Caleb, who he's half Puerto Rican, but his character is American through and through. And that'll make more sense with the Worms video, because I think everybody's kind of like supporting their country, except for me, who is, Team True Friends Gaming. But that's going to be the Worms videos. There was this weird thing I recorded with Char, which actually I have a lot of Blair Witch stuff from whenever we did that, not last Christmas, but we did the other recording the Christmas before last Christmas. I have more of those videos still that were just never uploaded. There was a video that Char and I did where last year we did a video where we were going through Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the PS2. I was showing her kind of the game and how it was and why I loved all the old Mortal Kombats. And I got to the point where I realized, oh, she doesn't know Mortal Kombat characters. So I made a video of, can you name the Mortal Kombat characters? And I just had her kind of go through and see, and I'll just kind of, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I'll kind of just snip it up, and if there's funny bits, I'll throw that in. And then this year, as a response to that, we did from her point of view, she's like, Jordan, can you name these Pokemon? I was like, well, I know first gen. I pretty much know second gen. And like a lot of third, later stuff I might not know as well, but I played Pokemon Go. Play Pokemon Snap, this new Snap. I know I play Pokemon X and Y and Sun and Moon, so I'll probably know some of them. So anyway, I learned I don't really know Pokemon, but that's okay. Those videos, that video is already edited. And so what I think I'm going to do with that is I think one day I'm going to have the Mortal Kombat video come out, and then maybe the next day or 2 days or something, I'll have the Pokemon video come out. And then that will be the whole, oh no, Jordan has no Pokemon, haha. And we'll see how that goes. Speaking of Char, by the way, I got a green screen. I mean, obviously it's not in frame right now. It's kind of rotated askew. But that's so I can see Luna, my leopard gecko right here. And then other stuff I've got things that were recorded with other people, like the people I go and see in Virginia. We've got a lot of content with Leanne and Carlicia and Caleb again, because he lives there. But we also have videos with other people, like my buddy Simon. And I've got friends with my friends, my Dutch friends. My friends in the Netherlands. We've got Ollie and Dooms. They'll be in. Ollie will be in a couple. Dooms will be, I think, in one video. And then I don't know. I've got a lot of other stuff backed up. I think I've got a thing with like Ruben's brother Toby and maybe a couple other people. So I'll really have to see what all I've got there. I've got a bunch of videos I recorded with Scott, our friend at Scott Dog Gaming, who still uploads regularly, does a bunch of cool stuff. Man, I turned regularly into like one syllable. Regularly. One of the videos we did relatively recently, it was something that he'd have for his channel in February when he was doing this long line of a game a day. And I obviously recorded my footage as well, so I'll be putting that up. It's the game Necess. And then I also just have a bunch of old unedited videos with just a lot of tests we did with TFG. That's where we did this Winnie the Pooh video, which was Ricardo and me playing an old Game Boy Color Winnie the Pooh game. That wasn't supposed to go out. It was just one of those games where I liked how it turned out because it was just him and me being dumb. But it was just like a full recording of just trying out different things with emulators and stuff to try PlayStation emulators and all this stuff. And he's just like, I hate this game I used to play. I wish I could remember what it was for the Game Boy. And I was like, oh, this? And I showed him the box and he's like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, cool. And I clicked a button and we switched to it. And then just because it was recording everything, we have that video. Another possible series I might do something with is I have recently been kind of just teaching everybody, all the TrueFriendsGaming people I can, all my other online friends, anybody that wants to learn how to play Warhammer 40k. I've been doing a lot of that lately. Once 10th edition came out, I was like, cool, I think we can get into this. A lot of us have always liked the lore of either Warhammer or Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, all those things. But through like Tabletop Simulator, we're finally like, let's play these, because I think the only thing in that vein that we've actually done any videos with was Blood Bowl, which we did that big tournament a few years back. So if you want to see some Warhammer 40k stuff, let me know. Now, again, there'll be a couple videos maybe, and then I might be gone for a few months. But then hopefully once that's done, I will have another group of videos. If some of the TFG guys want to record, some of my other friends want to record, maybe I can start getting a regular vault of videos again. But I would also like to ask, what would other people like to see on the channel? Because we've done Red Alert before on the channel. We did multiplayer. It wasn't like a Command & Conquer Red Alert's campaign. But I've been asked maybe do stuff like Command & Conquer games or things like that. And is that something people would like to see? If so, let me know. And then either when I get back or here in the very, very near future, I'll just start trying to batch record a bunch of those. And if not, then maybe I'll do it anyway. I don't care. It's my channel. That's why our channel fails, because we don't care. Well, actually, I'd say we don't care what people tell us to do. Nobody tells us to do anything because people don't watch. But if they did, if there's anything like that you guys would like to see, just let me know. Any other ideas for games, series, etc. I don't want to bog people down with a bunch of information. Basically, just to kind of cut everything down, the too long didn't read is I was at the doctor's in a hospital a bunch and out of town a bunch, and that's why I've not uploaded in a long time. I'm going to be out of town again, so I won't upload for a while. But I'm going to try and get a couple things out and in between, and then hopefully once I get back, I'll be able to start uploading stuff pretty regularly again. If there's anything else you guys want to see, please let me know. And I'm going to end this video now because I've just kind of been ranting for a half an hour. So I've been Jordan. It's nice to be back and talking to this microphone, although I guess I still do music with it, but actually talking to this microphone. And until next time, everyone, later.